Okay, hello YouTube. I'm making this video to explain how I finally conquered one of the most confounding problems I've encountered since I've been working on cars, and I mean that's for a lot of years. And the problem was getting this remote to work with the Lexus, and everywhere I turned, I couldn't get it right. So just so you know, this Lexus is a 1995 LS400. It's my baby. I work on it all the time whenever I need something done. But this was a problem which I just couldn't seem to solve. And I finally conquered it, and I'll tell you how I did it. First of all, it's a 95 LS400. To my knowledge, it's probably got over 400,000 miles on it. And I fixed everything that I possibly can. I bought it new, and I'm still driving it. What the heck? It's a beautiful car, and I recently had it repainted. But anyway, I couldn't get the darn remote to program in. All right, here's what happened. A little bit of background. First of all, the routine is you put the key in, you pull it out, you go over here to these things. You have to make sure you use only the manual one. First of all, get all the door locks locked to begin with. Open the door, use only the manual thing back and forth. It's 5 times. And then you open and close the door. Then you do it another 5 times manual. And then I think you put I'd have to look at the list. You put the key in, you turn it almost to the point where you're about ready to turn it on. Then you come back, then you do it again, then you come back, and it's supposed to go back and forth, and then you hit a button on your remote, and it programs in. Well, I'm going to tell you, I could never get that to work. I mean, I went round and round. I bet you I've been fooling with this for the last year trying to figure it out, but I finally conquered it, and I'll tell you how I did it. Okay, couple things. First of all, the computer needs to see this thing. All right, now I'm going to show it to you. And okay, let's see if it focuses. There it is. All right, well, what is that thing? That is a computer in the door. It's right down here. It's easy to replace. Just make sure you undo the battery before you pull it out of there. But first of all, if you buy these things at the Lexus dealership, they probably cost you a fortune. So naturally, I bought them on eBay, and apparently mine wasn't good. And I found out that easily half of these things are no good. So I started buying them. I bought one, I put it in, and it wouldn't actuate the other doors. In other words, the windows wouldn't do it. All right, so I sent it back, got my money back. On eBay, you know, I don't know what they are, 50 bucks, something like that, 60 bucks, whatever. But then I got another one. That one didn't work, okay? So you got to make absolutely certain. I finally got one that did, okay? It made the windows go up and down. It would lock the locks. But this is the door side computer for this thing. And if it doesn't work, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay, now another thing, which most of you probably already know, but you've got to go up underneath there, and you've got to pull the PCU out of there, and you've got to get the capacitors replaced. There are people online, there are people on eBay that actually do it. I pulled mine out of there. My capacitors, it turns out, were good, but who knows, you know. So the PCU, if those capacitors leak, you're never going to get this thing to work. So I pulled mine out. It cost me like 110 bucks, something like that on eBay. The guy did the capacitors. I don't know where he was. He was in Virginia or something. I'm in California. And I put it back in. The car ran great. Everything was good. But now I don't have to worry about the capacitors leaking. Okay. Now, the other thing is this one I got. This is my old one. But obviously it's been replaced at some point. What this thing is another potential issue. And this is the door lock for the driver's door. Now, they have aftermarket ones for the the back seat doors, and they're pretty easy to replace. They cost like $40, something like that. And I replaced each one of those. And by the way, both of those were not closing the locks completely. So they were clearly a problem. If the computer sees that the locks are not absolutely closed, you're not going to program that remote. Okay, now there's a third thing you might want to look at, is this thing. And that assumes I can get it to focus. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, but what this thing is, and again, it's pretty easy to replace. I bought these on eBay. It was out of a wreck, just like this thing on this door computer. But this particular thing probably wasn't bad, but where they are is they hide them up underneath up in there someplace, and you can replace these. However, I'm guessing yours is probably not bad. I did replace mine. I don't think it was the issue, but I replaced it. So you're talking about potentially this computer, the PCU for sure, you got to get those capacitors fixed in this thing. And then this computer, this one in the door, is easily 50% burned out. So yours is probably burned out. I don't know. The ones I got online came out of wrecks, and they were bad. About half of them were, but I finally got one that did work. Okay, and then this was the door lock thing, and that thing I did replace. It's not that bad to replace, kind of a pain in the ass, but not that bad. You figure it out, And I can tell you that I did not replace that one, which is similar, because to my knowledge, it was working fine. Now I'm going to tell you the trick. And I'll tell you a little more background just to bore you a little bit more, is that I took it to a key place. They couldn't make it work. I took it to, I was online like the rest of us, I was, what the hell to do with my key? There it is. I took it, I bought aftermarket keys, couldn't make it work. I couldn't get the computer to go into the programming mode every time. Took it to one of the places that supposedly said, oh, we can make it work, we'll get into your computer. They couldn't make it work either, okay? And they just sort of threw up their hands. I don't know. And they also said that they had worked on some Toyotas with the same problem. They couldn't get it to go into the programming mode. All right, so finally, in desperation, I took it to the dealership, all right, here locally, the Lexus dealership. And fortunately, it was a pretty sharp tech, and he was just determined to make it work, okay? And first he showed me, and he goes, it won't go into programming mode. I said, yeah, I know that. And he said, well, let me buy an OEM, FOB. A new one of these, OEM. And they had ordered in from other Lexus dealerships, and $200 for this stupid thing. But he said, I think it might be that it's not OEM. We were trying to program in the aftermarket ones. So I said, okay, took a day or two, and then they called me up and said, okay, we've got your fob in, and the tech believes he can make it work. Well, here's the trick, guys. This is the magic stuff. Once you've got all the door locks working to your satisfaction correctly, and again, if they don't work, then the computer just invalidates it and doesn't program in your fob, okay? Okay, turns out the Lexus dealerships have their own in-house secret chat board, okay? And it's guys fixing these really intractable problems that none of the other techs can figure out. So they scan for it, and it turns out that on their in-house, not Google, it was in-house, chat board, somebody had figured out that if you take 4 guys, okay, and they actually told me what they did. I said, well, what the hell did you do? I was fighting it for a year. I could never make it work. Well, here's how we did it. Took 4 guys, and each one of them held the lock. So one guy's standing here holding that thing locked shut, holding it like over center kind of, okay? And then another guy over here holding that lock shut, and then the one behind me, you know, the other passenger one. And then the tech that I was talking to, then he did the routine through the door. And of course, my computer in the door down there is working correctly. And they were able to program in the fob. So they told me it took 4 guys, 3 of whom were holding the other door lock shut. The one guy doing the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and, you know, key in and out. And he programmed it in. And when they called me up and told me it was done, first of all, with this fob and with their labor, it cost me $450. So $450 to find out. Well, you're finding it out for free. So anyway, I hope this helps, guys. I can show you. Watch this. It works. And the trunk works. Everything works great. So anyway, good luck. The secret has just been revealed. Sorry, Lexus. Take care, guys. But I think you are going to have to buy an OEM remote. That seemed like that was a critical element. Maybe not. Maybe the aftermarket ones will work if you get 3 of your friends to help you with it. So, but mine's aftermarket and it works fine. So anyway, take care. Good luck.